Oh mate, this thing is rapid. Right, welcome back guys to another video. And what we've got for you today is, as you can see behind me, is a VW Golf R Mark 7. So it's one of the earlier ones, 2014-15 sort of era. And it's not standard, it's been modified. It's a stage 2, 400 horsepower Golf R, and this thing is brutal. Honestly, it is fast. But the best thing about it, it's the 5-door hatchback and sounds completely standard. So what we'll do is we'll go for a little walk around the car, the usual routine, go for a little drive, and I've even got a DRAGGY today, so we'll try a 0-60 sort of time or whatever else we can really try with that. I've never really had one before, never really experimented with it before, so we'll give it a shot, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Performance Lifestyles. Check us out on Instagram, Performance_Lifestyles, and on Facebook as well, Performance Lifestyles. We've got plenty of videos uploaded. We've got, you know, a stage 3 Mark 7 Golf R on there, Mark 6 Golf R, R32 Golf. So I think we're just missing a Mark 4 Golf R32. So if you've got one or any other car that you'd like featured on the channel, drop us an email at pflifestyle@hotmail.com and we'll be more than happy to accommodate. But for today, we've got this Golf R, so we'll go for a little walk around the car first, and then we'll go for a drive. Check it out. So here it is, guys. Mark 7 Golf R. It is a very common, popular car. Yeah, I bet you've seen probably millions of them on the road, but yeah, got offered this awesome example. It's got a few mods on it. On the outside, aesthetically, you can tell the obvious thing is these 19-inch VW Motorsport wheels, and I think they'd actually look quite nice against the black paintwork. And what's behind the wheels is even more impressive. It's a set of high-spec big brake setup. So with the power this thing is running, I think it's needed, and this thing does stop. Honestly, it goes and it stops. It's such a mega car. It's sitting slightly lower than standard, so the arch gap isn't as obvious, noticeable as a standard Golf R. But yeah, it's standard sort of features. Obviously, you got your DRLs, your LED indicators, xenon, I think they're all LED headlights. As I mentioned, this is sitting slightly lower, so I think it looks a lot better, and it's finished off in black. Most of the Golf Rs that you see out on the road are lapis, I think it's called blue, but this one is black. It's a bit more discreet, and just, I mean, look at this thing. Honestly, it is very, very nice. So it's a beautiful looking car. It's a very nice cockpit. It's got everything that you could possibly want. This one doesn't have the leather seats. It's got the cloth interior with, I think it's Alcantara in the middle here. Our logo again, which is, just in case you forget you're driving a Golf R logo on the steering wheel. I mean, just look at this thing. Inside, it's all this gloss black styling in the middle, on the center console here. I think it looks quite well. It actually suits the car quite nicely. This doesn't have the sat nav or anything, but as you've noticed, I've just put my finger close to the actual thing, and it's kind of like detected it. Yeah, it's just like a fake carbon style sort of trim here on the door. This one does have heated seats, which I think is part of the winter pack. Again, another Golf R logo, 4Motion. So, and the steering wheel is fitted with these aftermarket flappy paddles. And now the standard ones actually sit to about here, and you can't really notice them at the bottom here. And I think they look a bit pants, if you ask me, the standard ones, but I find them way better to actually have aftermarket flappy paddles on them, purely because it doesn't matter whereabouts on the steering wheel your hand is, you can actually grip it and change the gear if you're driving in manual sort of mode or a spirited drive. But honestly, these cars are fantastic. It's got the different modes which you can adjust from here. So you press that and, oh, it's not coming up now, I'll have to start the car up. There, so it comes up here. As you can see, I've been driving it in eco, like a granddad. Individual, you can set your own sort of mode. Normal mode is, I think, I'm not 100% sure, it's just normal mode, I suppose. And race mode is where everything is in sports settings. So your gearbox map tune, your engine note, and the revs, the way it revs, it holds the revs quite high. again, it's good for normal sort of, well, I say normal, if you're on a bit of a spirited run, or you can set it to individual, so you can have the gearbox change in sport, the gear change in sport, and the actual engine though, so it doesn't just sit, you know, bloody 3,000 RPM when you're just cruising along, which is probably not what you'd want anyway. One of the other features on this car is you can actually skip through all these menus here. So, I mean, it's showing me I've got 35 litres, or fuel range is 80 miles, average consumption 18.5, actual consumption won't show because I'm not driving the car at the minute, oil temperature 87, and speed you're doing, which I think these are very, very sort of good features. Again, it is a standard VW sort of thing. You can change your assist systems, your audio, your telephone, vehicle status. Let's go to vehicle status. Oh, no entries available. If there's any issues on there, they would have showed up on there. You've got a lap timer, which if you're driving like myself, you probably will never use. So again, there, it's awesome. It's the whole thing. It's like the gloss black styling here, gloss black on the center, all the way over here. Everything is just laid out so well with these cars. And again, VW have done they've done a very good job of these things. And apparently on here it says 200 miles per hour as well. So, and I'm sure if you're running stage 3, right mapping, right everything, I'm sure you can achieve, you know, anything between 160 to 180 odd miles per hour at, which from a 2-litre car is, I'd say it's a very good sort of speed. You're not getting that sort of speed from many cars at all, to be fair. And yeah, these can do it, and they're known to do it. So overall, I'd say it's a good car, very good car. So if you want a Golf R, go get yourself a Golf R. Mark 7s are common as anything, so I'm sure there's not going to be a shortage of cars to find, but they are genuinely a very good car. It does exactly what it's supposed to do, and it does it very well. If you want an ASBO one, get one with an exhaust on it, like an aftermarket, or even a res delete or backbox delete, even if you want the extreme, as the Mark 3 one has on, sorry, the Stage 3 on our channel has. That's a complete and utter, it's too loud for my liking, but it sounds evil. Honestly, it sounds so evil. But it's just, the whole thing is actually very nice. The whole layout of the dashboard, it's got automatic lights, again standard feature for a 2014-15 sort of car. And yeah, the interior, I'll show you under the bonnet. So this is the famous Golf R lump. I believe it is the same as a Golf GTI engine, but the turbocharger on these is a IS38 as opposed to a IS20, I think it is on the Golf GTIs. Intake modifications wise, we're getting attacked by a wasp there. Modification, MST intake pipe, which is fitted straight there onto the turbo, and a Racing Line R600, which you can probably see is a bit dirty there, R600 intake, which is a very popular upgrade. That the next upgrade is obviously, the other upgrade, should I say, not the next, is a open sort of box, but again, each to their own. If you want more suction noises, get an open box. If you want something that does the trick, for even at stage 2, maybe even stage 3, then get yourself an R600. It's a very popular sort of airbox. This is actually, if I remember correctly, this had the water pump done as well. So, which is a big, it's a common fault with these cars. They tend to leak, and yeah, if you're losing water on your Golf R, the first thing to check is the thermostat housing water pump. So it's probably gone. But yeah, just in general, this car is mega. I think it's fantastic. So another standard feature on the Golf R is they have adaptive cruise control, which is fantastic. You can set the limit as to how far you want to be from the car in front of you, and the speed, obviously, like normal cruise control, you set it and it just sticks to that. So if the other car speeds up, this won't go over your desired speed, but it'll keep its safe distance. So again, it's a wicked feature. And honestly, it's a bit awkward to drive at first. You're like, hang on a second, there's a lot of settings to get used to, but when you get used to them, I think they're mega sort of things. And this is the actual radar cruise control sensor fitted to the front bumper. Again, if they break or anything, I can only imagine they'll be fairly expensive to replace, but just make sure they don't break, and they're a good thingy, good sort of feature. So what we'll actually do is we'll go for a little drive now, just to give you guys a feel of what it's all about, and then we'll conclude the video. But honestly, I hope you enjoy the video, guys. Been away from the scene for a couple of weeks or so, just we've had to sort out a couple of little issues. So yeah, but now we're back and we've got some content to come. We've got some rare stuff coming as well. So stay tuned, people. And honestly, check out the rest of this video and the other videos we've got on our channel. So like I mentioned, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I can't even get my words out today. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook as well, performance_lifestyles on Insta and performance lifestyles on Facebook. Check us out on there and we'll catch you on the drive. So then guys, the actual drive on this Golf, even though it's running a stage 2 map as I've mentioned on the intro, it's still, when you drive them normal, they actually drive perfectly normal. You wouldn't even guess that you're driving a 400 horsepower Golf R. They're very, very, very refined, as with all Golf Rs. I'm sure everybody's been there, done that, had the t-shirt sort of thing. They're very good cars. They're actually very, very good cars. There's millions of them on the roads, and I'm sure everybody's actually experienced a drive or a passenger riding one. So you're probably aware of how well they actually drive, and you know, this is why they are so popular. And they're very popular in the tuning scene as well, purely because of how tunable they are. I mean, standard horsepower on these is around, if I remember correctly, it's like early 300s. But the moment you start mapping them and start decat downpipe, remap, you can see over 400 horsepower on standard turbo, which is the IS38 turbocharger, and the actual engine is good for around 500 brake horsepower. And now we have actually got a video up on our channel of a stage 3 Golf R, so do check that out. That was a savage car. This thing is running 400 brake horsepower. It's got 5 doors, seats 5 people comfortably. What more do you want? Honestly, these things are savage. The whole interior on these is very, very nice, as I mentioned on the actual intro. You know, all this gloss black styling, everything, it all adds up. It all makes a difference when you're driving one of these. These aren't generally bought as a raw sort of focused car, because they're not. They're not. They're a heavy, bulky 4-wheel drive. It does exactly what it's supposed to on the tin, and it does it comfortably. Whereas if you want raw sort of power, then there's a few rivals out there, you know, to the Golf R. The FK2 Civic Type R is one of them to name, and it's a front wheel drive, but they're in the same sort of category, early 300 horsepower, but they feel a lot more focused. And we have got a video of an FK2 coming up on our channel very soon, so do check that out when it's actually uploaded. So at the minute I'm driving it in normal mode, and what I'll do is I'll drop it into race with the actual mode button on the near the gear knob. It's got actually so there you go. Now we're in, that car nearly just hit the car completely. So we're in race mode now. This thing is fast. It is very fast. It's been a while since I drove a MK7 Golf R that's been modified, and you can see exactly why people like these things, like to tune them as well. This one actually isn't loud. It's just got a decat downpipe, but the rest of the exhaust system is completely standard, so you can live with it. I've had a stage 2 in the past which was quite loud, and as soon as you kind of like, when you're driving it normal, it was fine, but the moment you go to open it up, it was just unbearable. It was just too much. Whereas this thing is actually quite nice. It's quiet, refined, but it's bloody fast. Oh mate, this thing is rapid. This thing is very, very fast. So then, right, okay. Now, that time I feel was, I think it's perfectly fine. Let's put it back into eco mode so it can coast and stuff. But yeah, back to this draggy thing. I think that was actually a good run. That was actually a very good run. It got a 0 to 60 in 3.66 seconds, which this is how fast these cars are. And bearing in mind, this is at stage 2. Imagine if this car was stage 3 or something. I'm sure you can achieve late 2s, you know, even like late 2 seconds, 0 to 60 times, and quarter miles of, you know, 10, 11 odd seconds. I didn't even test a quarter mile because I slowed down before. But it's just madness. These cars are absolutely bloody mad. So yeah, 3.66 second 0 to 60, stage 2 Golf R, Michelin Pilot 4Ss, and it's a dry day. There was a little, ever so slight little slope, but nothing really that will affect the 0 to 60 times too much. Maybe, you know, 3.7, 3.8 if it wasn't there, but still, it's still sub 4 second 0 to 60. Now that, from a hatchback, 5-door hatchback car, is phenomenal. Now onto the actual handling of these cars. As everybody knows, it's got the VW's full motion system, so 4-wheel drive, controlled by a Haldex. It's with a Haldex as well, so it can distribute power here, there, and everywhere. But they are very, very good. They're a very planted car, and I mean, this one is sitting on H&R, well, some sort of lowering springs, IBACs or H&Rs. I can't remember which one it was now, but it's sitting on lowering springs, and it's on 19-inch wheels as opposed to standard 18s. I know you get the Pretoria wheels, which are 19s as well, but I think these are the same fitment as the optional 19s. So, but they're not. They're VW Motorsport wheels, which I think look quite good. It has got a bit of a, when I first seen this car, it reminded me of a Honda Integra, you know, with the white wheels and stuff. Yeah, it still looks good, I think, in my opinion anyway. And the handling on these is phenomenal. Honestly, these things grip so well. The 4-wheel drive on these is amazing. Honestly, you can actually wrap this car around some twisties and it just glues and goes. They're such an amazing car. And I mean, I've been for a passenger ride in this thing with the owner, and it was he didn't want it on camera at the time, but it was mind blowing. I wouldn't feel confident enough to actually drive like that, but you almost feel like you're going to fly off the end of the road and go into one of these fields or something. But no, the car just kind of like goes straight around. Fantastic, honestly, fantastic handling on these cars. And again, that is another one of the reasons. I mean, the whole thing is such a good car. And I think with this one, the way it sits, the noises it makes, it's great. Seriously, it's very good, very good. Now the next step for this car, if you've got a stage 2 and you want to go up to a stage 3, I mean, power figures on a stage 2 vary massively. Some rollers will show you, over 400 horsepower, 400 up to about 20 odd horsepower on a stage 2, but some will show you below 400, and it all depends on whose rollers you're on, and some are happy rollers, some are not, but ultimately they are still around the 400 brake horsepower mark, which is very good. It's a very good number, very good number. And so, like I said, the next step for this would be to go hybrid turbo. There's a company called Litco that do hybrid turbos, and I'm sure there's a few other companies as well. Another map tweak, gearbox. This has had the gearbox tuned on as well, so that wouldn't be needed. It'll just be a case of turbo, map tweak, and that is it. And it will be running, 500 brake horsepower. 500 brake horsepower. A few years ago, if somebody mentioned to you that you can achieve 500 brake horsepower from a 5-door family hatchback, you'd think they were going mad. But it is kind of like the norm nowadays with these hyper style hatchbacks. I know these and the RS3s are very kind of like similar sort of. The RS3 is a 5-part, 5F cylinder engine, and they sound, I think, way better. But as far as performance goes, they're very similar sort of power performance sort of figures. But the RS3 is a superior car, ultimately. The Golf Rs though, they're a fantastic car. Honestly, they're such a mega sort of car. You can't go wrong with these things. They do, as I've mentioned, what it says on the tin. It is an R, it is a Golf. Golfs are well renowned for their build quality, their reliability and everything else. But yeah, and you can achieve silly power figures out of these cars. I know these cars do have a couple of common sort of problems. As far as the main one is to look out for on these cars is the thermostat housing water pump. They tend to leak after, I've seen cars as low as 30 to 40,000 miles leak, and then I've seen cars with 70 to 80,000 miles that I've never had them replaced, and they're still running on standard water pumps and stuff. So again, it is something that varies, and I think it all depends on driving styles and how they were fitted and how they were treated earlier on in their life. But if you get a well looked after one, or even if you get one that's actually been replaced, that's a positive. It is a £500-600 job to get done, so if it's been done, it's a massive plus. Obviously tyres and brakes, again, they run big brake setup on them as standard anyway, so brakes aren't as cheap as your normal Golfs, should I say, but they're not, it's not the end of the world. And whereas this one's actually running a high spec big brake setup, as I showed on the actual intro, and I must say it livens it up. It makes the brake calipers, it just makes the whole thing look a lot better, because the standard calipers are like a standard sort of traditional caliper, whereas these are like your 4-pots, I think they are, high spec, and a slightly bigger brake disc on them and a brake setup. It's just a whole package on this car. It's fantastic. This is actually a very, very, very good car. Honestly, it's tidy, it's clean, it drives nice, it starts, drives, goes, does everything it's supposed to do, and it does it very well. As you've read, 3.6 second 0 to 60. I don't think, apart from like the Nissan GTR and stuff, I don't think there's anything I've driven that will be as quick as this. Evos, yes, but with manual cars, they launch a bit different. I personally, I'm not gonna, claim to be a expert at launching, which I'm not. But I don't imagine them being as quick as these, purely because of gear change and it's just launching them right and stuff. But no, this is sick. This is keyword. This is sick. Awesome car. Awesome car. So then, guys, I'm going to conclude the video here for today. I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. Honestly, it is an epic car. It is really an epic car, and the actual 0 to 60 times I was very impressed with. 3.66 seconds. Now, that is, I don't know what more you could ask for from a 5-door hatchback car. Wicked, honestly wicked. So as I mentioned, I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Performance Lifestyles. Check us out on Instagram, performance_lifestyles, and we're on Facebook as well, Performance Lifestyles. Check us out, and yeah, we've got plenty of videos uploaded and we've got plenty of content to come. And if you would like your car featured on our channel, drop us an email, pflifestyle@hotmail.com, or alternatively, just drop us a message on any one of our social media accounts and we'll be more than happy to accommodate. So yeah, as per usual, guys, stay safe and we will catch you on the next video.